pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made or any other things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Yeah. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light. Yeah. All light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Whoa, everyone! I just the entrance through that portal of song light is so perfect. If everyone could just take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Welcome to your Super Soul Sister Sunday, and I am your host, LaTanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Passion, Coach's Coach, and a few other names that my tribe has given to me, and I am honored to wear them all. Those of you who are here for the first time, at some point you will be a co-host in this process. And so, all year we have been focused on living in our yes, in action, alignment, and abundance. And each month we literally have broken down principles of living in the yes and some of the messages that yes invites us to. Oftentimes when people hear yes, they living in yes, sometimes it's a contradictory message because you think that you need to say yes to everything to focus on the outside. And this yes that we're talking about is something deeply inside. It's something that is going to grow you. It's something that may scare you and may even typically get a no response. But because you're committed to stretching and seeing things different and really growing in the discomfort by choice rather than force, the yes is an affirmative prayer. It's a way of being in communication with spirit in the affirmative. I was just saying to my husband the other day as we're charting out our next move. We've always done things based off of where spirit has called us to, and just really having our steps ordered when we have done it that way. And I was making a decision with one place over another based off of what I no longer wanted to experience. and that was coming. I had to check myself and catch myself real quick before I went too far, because I was like, wait a minute, is this the highest place of vibration that you can start to create from? Is this the highest level? And what is it that you really, really, really desire? Are you making decisions based off of what you see now? Because sometimes the Spirit had to check me and show me that what you see now is creating your future. In other words, I get to see with my other eye, not with my physical eyes, and that I get to hold an expectation for myself. And so I was able to catch that and go for a higher yes inside of my spirit to myself. And it gave me a little butterflies in my stomach when I thought about it. And I also had to go deeper and look at the part of my birth chart. You know, I go there that plays it cautious, that plays it safe sometimes, and really question that part of my chart to see what was needed in order for me to play a bigger game. So, as you know, also this is my birthday month. My birthday is Monday, and I noticed that my yes is a slowing down, a yes to trusting. So your yes may be speeding up. Another person's yes may be one to find some balance, and while another person may need to find a yes in slowing down. And so we can't look at anybody else's pace and run their race either, because there really is no race. So I'm excited about bringing on our guests. Minister Dana, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. I hear you loud and clear.
Thank you so much. All right. I am so honored to have in the space today my Reverend Sister Kelly Giroux, who is a graduate from Intervisions and a scholar amongst many other things. She's an attorney, a mother, and a leader of a growing ministry called Grow Continue, and has become such a world traveler and really inviting people to evolve their perspective of their spiritual selves. I may be leaving out some other things on Reverend Kelly's bio, like, you know, where the next trip is and what projects that she's working on, because she's always working on something. She's quite the humanitarian. I can tell you just from personally interacting with her, I have never met a more firm and yet tender spirit who holds a space of truth, challenge, but so much love. And she's like that no matter whether it's in public or whether it's private. And it's a long overdue to have Reverend Kelly in this space to share with us. So I invite you to open your heart, open your mind, and open your spirit. Reverend Kelly Giroux, are you on the line?
I am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us for the first time here in Super Soul Sister Sunday. And I'm going to turn everything over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Reverend LaTanya. And I want to also say what an honor it is to be here with you all and to be doing work with my sister. And it is long overdue. Too often I think that we are doing so much. This seed from Reverend Dr. Ayanna Van Zant, we are planting it all over the universe. I won't even say the country or the world. We're planting it everywhere. And in our process of planting it, we don't come together often enough to be of support to each other. So I appreciate you for supporting me and letting me come here to offer myself to your family. And I am so happy to support you and them in delivering a talk today. So thank you, Reverend LaTanya.
My pleasure.
to all of you, I just want to say that I love you. I love you because I love my sister, and you are hers. You are her family. You are her sisters. You are her gifts. And so because I loved you, I prepared for you. I cleansed myself. I purified myself. I decluttered the room that I was in. I freshened it with incense. I cleansed my body. I dressed myself in white so that I could be prepared for spirit. I prayed. I meditated. I did all that I needed to do to lay a foundation for myself to come to you as the best me that I could be. And I did that so that I could say to you, when you come into your house, when you come into the spaces with people that you love, when you go out into the streets and you say that you love your brother, what have you done to prepare yourself to deliver to them the love that they are worthy of? And so I invite you, when you come into the space with people, and when you look at these people who tell you that they love you, see what kind of love they are bringing to you. Are they bringing to you the cleanest, most pure love that they can manifest? You see, all of us have so much potential, and we can either deliver from the full capacity of our potential or something less, if we settle for less. And when I drew some cards out of my foundation deck to talk about, to inform me as to the spiritual energy that I wanted to bring forth today, I drew 4 cards. And the first card was about the blasphemy of low expectations. It told me to remind you that you are God's seed. And if there's nothing more important than God's seed planting and growing itself in the earth, in the universe. The second card told me to tell you that God is not fooled by anything that you do or anything that you have done, because God knows who you are. So hold yourself as innocent beings that are loved and blessed by God in everything that you endeavor. The third thing was thou art that, and that is the card that just says that you are God. You are God birthing itself each moment through the template of your own soul. And the final card is dare to be certain, fearlessly committed to your desired outcome. And that is all about the yes, and it is the higher yes that Reverend LaTanya referenced. And so what was given to me in spirit to offer to you is a 4-step process to a complete yes. And I'm going to begin at the end, which is the 4th step, it is done. Because in the it is done step, we're visualizing and knowing that we've already created the outcome that we desire. So the it is done step is about us taking up our cross. And I want you to envision and visualize what a cross actually looks like. You know that it is the long bar and the bar across, but I want you to imagine those bars stretching out into infinity, into the place where they come back together. And as you visualize that image, you will see a complete globe. And at the Grow Continuum, we use that globe as the continuum. We think of that as the space that we all occupy. No place of judgment. We are all just in some space on that globe, learning and growing. And I'm not talking about the globe that is the earth. I'm talking about the globe that is the complete manifestation of all that God is. That space. And so I want you to think of Jesus' cross as the intersection, the coming together of his humanity and his divinity. It is the place where those two things cross. And so when we are told that we must take up our cross, we're being told that our humanity and our divinity will intersect, and oftentimes those intersections may look like a conflict. They may look like having to choose. And just as we are told that Jesus died on his cross, the Son of Man died on the cross to give birth to the Son of God. So the Son of Man, that humanity, died to give birth to a divinity. And that's what our "it is done" should look like. That we have taken up a yes, and as a result of traveling through the process of that yes, we have arrived at an endpoint that is the birthing of our own divinity. Whatever our yes is, that yes should result in benefits that glorify God's kingdom of light and creativity. So before you are even starting down the road to a yes, you should be asking your question, how is this yes that I'm taking up going to be a blessing to the world, going to be a blessing to God? Your "it is done" should be the answer to that question, that whatever I'm saying yes to is going to bless the world in this way. So, for example, recently I wanted to travel to Africa, and in order to manifest that trip to Africa, I had to know that I was going there to take my soul into a deeper space so that I could be closer and closer to the full expression of my own divinity. That was the answer. That was the "it is done." That was the benefit that I would be to the world. And so from holding that space, everything else became a process of surrender. So that's your step 4, your "it is done" step. You're looking at how the yes that you are saying can benefit the whole world, can benefit the whole universe, can be a blessing to God and all that is. And so what I named this talk is yes, the why, the what, the how, and the homework. And so the homework that I offer to you is to look at a book called The Man Who Tapped the Secrets of the Universe. And that man's name is Walter Russell. The reason I love this particular book, and I love the life of Walter Russell, is because it is a demonstration of how we bring divinity into the accomplishment of our everyday goals, into the accomplishment of what may appear to be mundane. What I like to say is that we are the divinity that originates from disobedience. So if you take the metaphor of the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve, and them being kicked out of that garden, you know that God expanded itself beyond the boundaries of strict obedience, because there was disobedience, and yet the love continued. So we are the creatures that caused God to be a blessing to the universe outside of strict obedience to God's will, strict obedience to what God says to do. We are the beings who stretch God's divinity beyond the boundaries of goodness and bring that divinity to the allness of possibility. And what does all that mean? It just means that God is with you no matter what you do, no matter what path you take, no matter what it is that you say yes to. God is everywhere blessing you. And no matter what you do, no matter what you've done, if you think it was bad, if you think it was good, there is a blessing enfolded in it, because God already knew who we were. And God already knew that we weren't always going to obey. So he set up that whatever it is that we would do, we would be blessed in it. We have to find that blessing in whatever our activities are. So there is no shame in our game. That's what that means. There's never a time that we have to be ashamed of ourselves. There's only a time for us to dig through the rubble of what it is that we have created or miscreated and find the divine blessing in that and give it to ourselves and give it to others. Now, since we're working backwards, let's go to step 3. Step 3 is I'm doing it. And in step 3, you become what the yes has come to make of you. You see, whatever yes it is that is in your life, it is calling you forth. You're not only creating it, it is creating you. And so therefore, in order for you to be created by that yes, you have to be willing to become what the yes is asking you to be. And what that means is that you say yes to the yeses that are included within the yes and no to the no's that are included within the yes. And that might sound a little bit complicated, so let me break that down. The yeses that are included in the yes are all the things that you also have to say yes to in order for that yes to play out. So if I say I'm going to go to Africa, then I have to also say yes to taking time off work, yes to figuring out what the money is going to look like, yes to making sure that my family is okay while I am gone. I have to say yes to everything that it takes to bring that yes into full matter. To pull that yes, I'm basically pulling that yes out of the realm of possibility into the realm of manifestation. And in order to pull that yes out, I have to say yes to all of the yeses that are embodied within that yes. And what's the other half? I have to say no to all of the no's that are embodied in that yes. So the no's might be, no, I'm going to have to cut back on some things that I was going to blow off money on, or it may be, no to, I'm not just going to take on 2 clients this month. I'm going to take on 10 clients because I want to earn the extra money. It might be no to, I can't sit here and watch Scandal because I need to devote myself to coaching so that I can devote myself to earning. I might have to say no to some other free time because I need to do some research about the places that I'm going in Africa. I may say no to even going home to see my family. I may have to say no to listening to my mother, who believed that Africa was still an uncivilized place and was very dangerous. I have to be willing to say no to all of the no's that are included in my yes. And the process, the path of saying yes to those yeses and no to those no's is going to turn me into something that I wasn't when I first took on the yes. I'm going to become a different thing because I was willing to say yes to this yes. It's making me something. It came forth from the divine to make me something. It was set forth from the beginning for me to do. So that's number 3. Number 2. How will I do it? Number 2 is the how step. And the how step is a flexible step. It's a variable step. I'm not wed to any one way of doing it. I'm not wed to having to look the way that I want it to look. I am open in this step. I'm open to learn how to and how not to. This is the energy activation step. We are all conductors of energy. And you know, a conductor decides things. A conductor is a leader. If you look at a conductor in an orchestra, the conductor of the orchestra is telling the different instruments when to play, how loud to play, and what to play. If you looked at a conductor on a train, a conductor is telling the passengers where to sit. He's collecting the tickets. He might even be selling fares. We are conductors of divine reality. We receive divine energy and we pull forth from the realms of the divine realities. But there are all kinds of realities, an infinite number of realities from which we can pull. We pull the very best realities, just like Reverend LaTanya was saying, we pull the very best realities when we are in our most clean and pure state. So we have an obligation to lift our energy so that we can bless the world, bless the planet, bless God, and bless ourselves, pulling forth the very highest realities that are possible. Okay, so how do we do that? We do that by avoiding depleters and suppressors. What are depleters and suppressors? Anything that makes your energy feel low. Things like sickness, weakness, anger, chaos, clutter, neediness. And you avoid those things in yourself and avoid those things in others. Because you are involved in the process of divine creation, you cannot afford to waste time on these things. So whatever you need to do to get yourself as healthy as you can be, do that. Whatever you need to do to get yourself as strong as you can be, do that. Whatever you need to do to get yourself as calm as you can be, do that. Whatever you need to do to remove chaos from your life, do that. To remove clutter from your life, do that. And once you rid yourself of depleters and suppressors, charge yourself. How do you charge yourself? Charge yourself with humor, with joy, sports, sex. Sex is a great one. Dancing, intimacy, forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of others, exhaling, deep breathing, laughter, charging the neutral activities in your life, like doing dishes but listening to beautiful music, being at work but listening to an inspiring talk. Whatever you do, you can customize the charge that you place on yourself by knowing your own spirit. What is it that lifts you into those states of divine communion? Whatever that is, that's what you should do to charge yourself. And when you are in that charged space, you can go into meditation and connect with your own timelessness. You see, you are a timeless being that exists on all the many dimensions of reality, including this one. The timelessness of you has already completed what it is that you are saying yes to. You know it has because we've already done the it is done step. So what you want to do is go into meditation and connect with the you that has already done and already said yes to the thing you're attempting to say yes to. And you ask that you, that version of yourself, how? How do I do this? What is the way? And the creativity of God will rush to you from that place and tell you exactly what to do and what not to, then and as you go along. Remember, there are multiple dimensions of possibility. All kinds of things are possible. You're just pulling one of them forth, which is your job. Your job is to pull from all of the spiritual realms, all of the realms of possibility, down onto earth a reality. And when you get yourself as clean and pure as possible, the reality that you pull down becomes that heaven on earth. That is our divine responsibility, to bring forth that heaven on earth. So that is the how you will do it step. Now, step number 1 is the will I do it step. Will I do it? And on this step, instead of being flexible and variable, you want to be stable. You want to have a stable yes. Not a yes, no, maybe so. Not a yes if everything goes right. You want to have 0 no contained in your yes. Most people are defeated from the start of what they do because they're creating from a maybe consciousness, a consciousness that is subject to shift if the how is too difficult. They're willing to shift right into a no as soon as there is some kind of breakdown in the how. You want to be a firm yes, a stable yes, a yes that is unshakable, a yes that contains 0 no. And for this step, I offer you to go into the scriptures and read your Bible, read the temptation of Christ. And if you're of some other religion and you have a story that is similar to that, you will know that every being that is on a divine quest is always tempted by doubt. So Jesus went into the wilderness and was tempted. He was tempted by questions. Are you really all that? Prove it. He was tempted by doubt. Is God really with you? Let's see. He was tempted by his own desires. I can give you everything. I can give you the world if you just take this other path. Why are you giving yourself into your divinity when all of these talents, skills, and abilities that you have can be used for your own greed to get those things that are of this world? So you want a stable yes that emanates from divinity. And let's talk about that for a minute. Life is living itself through you. Life is living itself through you. So everything that you do should be forwarding that divine life living itself through you. You should be asking yourself with every yes, whose yes is this? Is this God's yes, or is this a yes that comes from my little girl that never quite felt like she had enough? Or is this a yes that comes from my little boy who never felt like he was seen and now wants to be seen? Whose yes is this, and do I want to grow her? Do I want to grow that aspect of me? Because remember, I told you that when you say yes to something, that yes is going to turn you into something. So do you want to be the thing that this yes is going to turn you into? Do you want to grow that aspect of yourself? If your yes is aligned with the divine, if your yes is coming from your God self, if your yes has already been set forth from the beginning of time for you to pursue, then that yes becomes easy. Because all that yes is at that point is a surrender into the energy that is already present. So in that first step, you want to know whose yes is this, and you want to get stable in it. So those are all the things that I wanted to offer to you all today. I hope that I am within the time that Reverend Latanya set forth for this. I put a number of photographs up, and I want you to have an opportunity to go back and look on the Facebook page at some of the photos I offered, because I believe that those will support you. I had to abbreviate this for 15 minutes, and I plan on expanding on it further. So Reverend Latanya said, what's my next project? My next project is going to be to create a series of videos from this talk that I offered today, and I hope that all of you have an opportunity to view them. I'll give the information on them to Reverend Latanya, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Reverend Kelly. I've always loved how succinct you are in delivering high thought and high vibrational spirituality in such a practical, step-by-step way. Thank you so much. And what we do here is so many people are used to going into spaces and just being kind of preached to. And so we like to open up this space because I believe that every person in here has that divinity. Every person in this space has that. We call it a belly jump. When women come together and they really stretch out into transparency or their divinity, something happens that your belly leaps, like Mary and Elizabeth, who both of them were pregnant at the same time and didn't know it until their belly leaped. And so I believe every Sunday that the women coming together is an opportunity for us to connect at the womb level. And so I want to open this cosmic womb up for you to share where your belly leaps. You are now invited to be our co-host of what you heard, what you felt, where you're shifting, or any prayer requests. It's open now. Well, let me open them. I forgot we have a new board here, so I'm opening all of the lines.
I'll just say that I love that so much.
Thank you. So just about everyone's line is open. If you're ready you can just jump in.
Good morning.
Good
Can
morning.
you hear me? Good morning.
Loud and clear.
Great. Oh, ladies, thank you so much for this time this morning. I just wanted to say to Reverend Kelly, thank you for your preparation time. I honor you for your delivery.
One second, Chandra. One second. If someone has the call on speakerphone, please take us off speaker. Thank you. It immediately removes the echo for the entire experience. Go ahead, Chandrika. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you, Reverend Kelly, for your preparation time this morning, and I honor you for your delivery. I feel such a fullness this morning, and I felt that I was shifted and pushed into my second trimester. And I just wanted to briefly share the one thing that, not one thing, many things allowed me to jump in a high and wanted to catch up to write every word that you were saying this morning. But the one thing is that I should surrender into the energy that's already present. And so for me, I want to dwell in that. And so, I just want to say thank you for your time with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I look forward to hearing more from you, and hopefully we can have those videos posted from Reverend Kelly in Good Growth on Goddess this week. That would be this is actually a super moon week, as another one that we're approaching. The energies this week is crazy. So if you've been feeling full, and I don't like to say crazy, but let me say chaotic, you've seen the news seems crazy of what's been happening, but we have to know that there's a lot of change happening on the earth right now. And depending on where things are in your chart, some of you who have more water, some of you who have more air, you're going to feel it very intensely. So there's a lot going on this week. Who's next?
Good morning. I just want to say thank you. What stood out to me was about pick up our cross. I've always seen that kind of as a burden, and now today I saw it so differently and the connection. And I also just want to say thank you because when Reverend Kelly talked about God breathing himself as us, it was a confirmation when I went to a meditation yesterday. They talked about some of the very same things. And I was like, wow. So I'm grateful, and I'm really grateful to be on the call this morning. And she named a book by Walter Russell, The Man Who, and I didn't get the rest because I was trying not to write today. I was trying to listen.
The Man Who Tapped the Secrets of the Universe, and I have also posted the name of that book and the link from Amazon in my comments to the post that advertised this event.
Okay, thank you.
So it's it will be in the Super Soul to Start event on Facebook. It will be over there.
Oh, thank you. This was just a blessing today. Oh, my God. Thank you.
I have to jump in and say, as the next person gets ready to come first, oh, my goodness, when you said, whose yes are you saying anyway? Oh, my God. I had to pause for a minute when you said, because, yes, oh, my goodness, Reverend Kelly, when you said that, whose yes, because sometimes that's a great check-in place, because sometimes the no that we're saying is still the little girl no. The no that we're saying is still the no out of lack. The no that we're saying is still the no because we was hurt from the last situation or disappointed from the last situation, and so we are having temper tantrums. And I actually said, I found myself saying, I'm being transparent, told my husband, sometimes I just want to have a temper tantrum, and I just want you to let me have a temper tantrum. And I just need you to just let me express myself. I'm always having to be there for everybody else. I just want you to let me have a temper tantrum. And he was like, you need to sit down and have a damn talk with that little girl sometimes, because she cuts up. And, and I had to look at that and say, you know what? You're so right. I didn't want to hear that at the moment, but it was blocking a greater yes. And it's hard to find the words of how a greater yes gets blocked by being so practical, by being so cautious. And I had to go to my chart, literally, and say, and because caution is in my chart, and look and say, okay, how am I going to manage this as I get older? And maybe it doesn't need to be managed. Maybe it is just a surrender at different times, because I'm always, I always hear Ron Davis, Reverend Kelly, always in the back of my head inviting me to play a bigger game. And so I'm constantly stretching, and sometimes I want to tell him to shut up. Like, sometimes he's louder in my ear than, and for those of you all who are listening, we share a dear brother who both was our coach and ministry partner in. I have to say that Ron was one of my biggest cheerleaders and brothers in ministry and in his work, and really shaped my coaching into masterful coaching. He was a master coach who made other masters, and peace and blessings be upon him as he comes through in my sharing. Yeah. All right. Anyone else?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. LaTanya, actually you opened up something that I was going to share in you, and it was that I've noticed that I say no a lot, and even though I want to say yes, and it's almost like I have to be forced into the yes, because there's something that just, like, I feel like my feet just get planted, and it's like I don't want to move, but in my head it's like, no, but this is what I want to do. And I've realized that a lot of it is fear that some of the things that happened before will happen again, even though I feel like as an adult I feel brave enough to be like, it's okay if something happens not the way that I anticipate or want. But yet that intense no is so strong that I find that even when I'm walking in the yes, the no is just like right behind me. And if something is slightly not the way it looks like it should be, I can quickly just jump ship. So I'm at a point where I was like, I'm just going to say yes to everything. But then I don't know if that's kind of a reckless way to be in the world. So how do you begin to trust your yes and trust your no? And kind of, I don't know if this is a complicated kind of question or if it's making sense, but something as simple as wanting to hang out with some friends that I hadn't seen for a while. I wanted to do it, but the whole time I'm fighting this no, because then I have to be social. They might bring up some topics that I don't want to talk. I mean, so it's just, I'm just in this constant conflict of yes, no, and then I don't even trust like my yeses at times.
May I offer this, Reverend LaTanya?
Yes. 1 second though. I want to, because what I want to remind everybody is, you can ask some questions in Good Girls Gone Goddess, because I like to keep it safe. flowing rather than it be a discussion, with question and answer, that we could continue to question and answer and Good Girls Gone Goddess. However, I was going to say when you first started, invite Reverend Kelly to share a little bit more, outside of the question part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, go ahead, Reverend Kelly.
I'll share a story very briefly. She said that I am a lawyer, and I used to be like kind of the hot stuff lawyer, making a lot of money, shaking hands with presidents, that kind of thing. And so what I do now, it makes me money, but it's not nearly as glamorous. And I ended up doing what I do in the building with the people that I used to work with when I was doing the glamorous work. And I knew that I wasn't there by accident, that call was God asking me to face my fear of facing those people and to stand in my own divinity. So if you are afraid, it is likely a call. In other words, it is a yes that is calling to you to become more. You should dare those problems that came up the last time to come up again. Because know that you are enough to handle them. Like, come on, because I'm here now. You caught me out before, but check me out now. And if I am not ready for them, I will grow to be ready for them as they face me. And when I went into that experience, I saw that this life is my divine life, that life is my history, and I don't want it. And I don't feel any less than. And God wanted me to see that. So he brought that to my attention, and it would have been a spiritual miscarriage for me to walk away from it. So when those fears come up of, I want to say yes to this, but I'm afraid, embrace the bigger you that knows that you can handle it, that is willing and ready and able to grow through to the next space. Sorry, Reverend Latanya, if I was answering.
Oh no,
but,
we let Spirit do the work in here.
Okay.
So no apologies necessary. But I would love any discussion or any pondering to continue in Good Girls Gone Goddess. And because we are women growing forth in Goddess, and so the work is not just. A lot of times we go to still have a church mentality. I go to do something. The work must continue every day. Not just to be inspired. So that's what I mean when I say growing forth in Goddess. That this is a journey that many of us are on together. And no matter whether we dip in or out. And also I want to say the good news is when you put stuff out there like that, I don't know which voice that was that asked the question, but if you're in the Juicy Spirit process, you also learn how to let pleasure speak to you from your womb. So you can ask yourself, is this in my pleasure? But many of us have not trusted the idea of pleasure because we think that pleasure comes from a lascivious place. And that's not the truth. That's somebody else's program about what pleasure is. So I think this is a good segue if no one's spilling over. Anyone spilling over into the space?
Just me, just me.
Okay, who is that?
This is Minister Dana. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Reverend Kelly, thank you so much. This was I'm sitting over here and my skin just jumping a little bit because the whole entire process just really jumped in my belly. And Latanya, you hit the nail on the head with the whose yes is it anyway. But I will tell you all that number 3 really hit me. The I'm doing it step. And you become what the yes has come to make of you. That really jumped with me, especially when you said, say yes to the yeses and no's to the no's. And you have to say yes to all that's surrounding the yes. Because oftentimes I'll say yes and then say no to everything else. And so that really stood out to me because I understand now that there has to be a balance. When you say yes, you have to continue to balance your yeses and not just flood it with the no's that come after. And that comes back to, that whole fear base. I'll say yes to something and then, flood it with a no that comes immediately after. And that's like, I love the analogy. I used to give an analogy of, we'll pray for something and pray for something and pray for something. And then when God presents it to us, we'll end up saying, no, I don't want that because it's not the color we wanted. It's not the shape we wanted. It's not the size we wanted. And so we end up saying no and throwing it right back in God's face. And so this yes and saying yes, behind it adds that balance for me. And I want to say thank you for that because, that was a real eye-opener and a real coming to Dana moment.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
This is good. This is really good. I'm actually so excited. I have something I want to share with you all later. I'll probably do a video on this living in this yes, the way that it manifested for me on this past Friday. But I'll probably do a video. This will be a great segue to actually go into our prayer space. Thank you so much, Reverend Kelly. You've given us so much fodder for the journey. And again, I look forward to sharing the links and also to share and have Reverend Kelly in Good Girl Strong Goddess so that she can share some of those videos, or we can post them in Super Soul Superstar Sunday, the event area. And this is the time where we want to clear our space, uncross our legs, our laps, uncross our body, and most of all, uncross our mind. And at this time, we want to invite our ancestors into a space. There are so many things that some of our ancestors wanted to say yes to, but they lived in a no season. They lived in a not in a no time zone. But we have to know that we also come from ancestors that vibrated so high that there really was only yes. You get that? We come from ancestors that they vibrated so high that they said be, and it is. There was no question. There was no doubt. So when you only think about the ancestors with limits, I say think beyond them.
Yeah.
So call the ones into the space who wanted to connect to that yes, because you may be the answer to their prayers. Speak them into this space right now. Those mothers, call those mothers forth. We honor them.
Shirley Rice, Carrie Jackson, Maxine Marshall, Augustine, Viola Jones, Bruce Fields, Jane, Rosalisa Williams.
Oh, yes. Reverend Helen, can you take us into prayer?
Emma Franklin.
Yes. Beloved Mother, Father God, we offer you our thanks. Thank you for living yourself through us. Thank you for breathing yourself through our breath. Thank you for seeing yourself through our eyes. Thank you for speaking yourself through our words, God. And now we choose you. We choose to stand up and live the lives that you've asked us to live. We choose to stand up and be as you would have us be, God. We choose you. We choose your yes, God. And we vow ourselves to do each and everything, to be each and everything that you are calling us forth to be, so that we can live your blessing onto this planet and into the universe. Oh, God, we thank you. We thank you for the template of our soul, our own special uniqueness, the way that when you shine your godness through our humanness, uniqueness is created. We know that the things that you have brought us here to do, no one but us can do. and we take up the mantle. We take the torch. We're willing, God. We're willing. We're willing to plant your seed. We're willing to grow your seed. Show us the way, God.
Yes.
Show us your yes. And watch us take it and run. We just settle into you, God, allowing every bit of learning, every bit of tasty and delicious energy to just fall fresh upon our minds, our souls, our hearts. And we fully surrender into our own divinity, into that special space, that holy of holies. And breathing you deeply. And with our out-breath, the out-breath that is the outliving of our lives, go forth to do that which you would have us do. And for this and for all things, we thank you and we let this be so. And so it is.
Thank you, Ashe.
And so it is, Ashe. Thank you again, Reverend Kelly, to each and every one of the sisters who continue to come here each week, and new ones who have joined us, and those listening to the recording. I am offering a birthday special on 11/11. Mention the 11/11 and get 11/11 off of the coaching session version, and just get the reading of your natal chart, which I call the Goddess Astrology Chart reading. Normally the price is 222. I'm working with ancestral numbers this year, and I've started to include the numerology into the full session, but you will only get a reading with the 11/11, and will be available until my birthday. You don't have to schedule right away, but you can secure the session. I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. Thank you for sharing this pretty birthday space with me, and always the journey every day. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Ciao, everyone. Have a beautiful day.
Happy birthday, Reverend Latanya.
Happy birthday. Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.